Yo, welcome to Melony CRE YouTube. Today, we're going to be doing a VOD review of an Inteleon VMAX game. I took this to the Lux Series tournament this past Saturday. Oh, I don't know when you're watching this video, but the past Saturday as of releasing it. I ended up going 4-2. It went well. This deck tested incredibly well on the ladder, and I decided, oh, let's take it to a tournament. Let's see if it's actually as real as it is. And I'm still not entirely sure how real it is after playing it in a tournament as well. Like, obviously, I did well with it. Which is very cool. 66% win rate is nothing to scoff at in a tournament, and my ladder win rate is like 70 something percent with it. So I think it is a good deck. I don't think it's tier 1 for sure, but I think Inteleon is better than people are pretending it is right now. The big thing is there's two promo Inteleons, Inteleon V and Inteleon VMAX, that Japan got by now, but we haven't gotten yet, and they're going to make a huge difference for the deck. But in the meantime, I think this is a pretty solid way to play it. So for a 3-3 line, a fourth Inteleon V is probably my 61st card right now. You have 60 cards in the deck already. But the 61st card, for those of you wondering, would be a fourth Inteleon V, because starting it or just raw drawing it is so nice and definitely something you want to do. With a 4-4-1-2 line, I think this is enough. Quick shooting is nice. The math isn't incredibly important for the deck, but it is really nice and it comes in handy. But I don't think you need a third one. And the same thing, I don't think you need more than one Shady Dealings Inteleon. You're generally fine with the Sobbles and then setting up something else. It's also cool to just beat Decidueye with it, so I like that. We play one Suicune as well. In games where things are running hot, you can sometimes go Inteleon, Suicune, Inteleon, especially against a matchup like an opposing Suicune, where the math doesn't work out, but your Suicune KO their Suicune. So that's definitely, I really like the Suicune. It's also nice if you have really bad start. So it's good when you have a really good start and you can force them to go 3-2-3. It's also really nice when you have a bad start and you're like, I can't power this stupid thing up because it takes 3 energies to max bullet. I'm going to go ahead and go in with Suicune. Also nice because you can go in with Suicune early, put a EXP share onto an Inteleon. They KO the Suicune, and then you can go in with Inteleon on the next turn. So that's one of the main strategy of the deck, is the Suicune's here as a little bit of a crutch and a little bit of a counter strategy to your opponent's strategy. Max bullet is really good. I don't think I would call this deck better than Suicune V, but I would say max bullet offers a lot of flexibility and a lot of power. Like I said, I think it's better than people are letting on. For those people out there who might be looking at this like, where's the Yell Grunt, where are hammers, where stuff like this? We use Hydro Snipe in this deck when we have to. This is a sniping deck. This is an aggressive take 6 prizes kind of deck. Hydro Snipe is not our strategy. I mean, sometimes, if you're playing against Dragapult, they start their Dragapult in the active. You can Hydro Snipe it until they eventually start attaching to the bench. Yeah, sure, totally. But this is not a Hydro Snipe deck. This is entirely different. No Cheryls, no Yell Grunts, no anything like that. We are aggro. I'm going to take my prizes. Some other stuff in here, the Telescopic Sight is so good. I was originally like, is it actually going to matter? Sniping 90 to the bench, realistically twice, because you're not going to get 1 shot. You're going to get 2 shot. Sniping 90 to the bench twice is freaking huge. The Telescopic Sight is absolutely bonkers. The one of EXP share, same thing. It is one of the strongest cards in the deck, specifically because it takes 3 energies to attack. So if you can get an EXP share on your second Inteleon, or first if you have to go in with Suicune or something like that, you're probably going to win the game. You can also, if you go second and you start the EXP share, you put it on Inteleon, you can keep calling, and then the EXP share will proc, and you can go ahead and Melony or Raihan the next turn and set yourself up and you're good to go. The rest of the stuff is kind of generic for Level Ball 3 Incense 4 Quick Balls. It's, Inteleon engine stuff. One of Scoop Up Net, which I think should be mandatory in all Inteleon decks at this point. Just being able to grab the Scoop Up Net as an extra switching card and an extra way to recycle your Inteleons is so good. 1 is plenty. 3 paths. Path is very good. We are not as aggressively path Marnie as like a Dragapult deck is, for example, or something like that, but he lets you hit Zamazenta, slows down Shadow Rider, which is very important. The Shadow Rider matchup is very good if Path sticks for a turn, and very bad if Path doesn't stick for any turns. So Path is very good for that matchup, very good for the Zacian Zamazenta matchup. Also nice for the Suicune matchup because you prevent them from using fleet-footed. So that's also a good reason to play the card. The supporter line's a little thick. I don't think I would be against someone cutting one of these, but for me, I'd rather play safe than sorry in a best of one tournament. So we've got the 4 Melony and the 1 Raihan, because powering yourself up as a 3 energy attacker is difficult at times, because you can't just go attach, pass, attach, attack. You have to Melony or Raihan in addition to not missing your attachments. 3 Marnie, 2 research. Again, consistency. 2 capture energies. I think 2 has been fine. I don't hate the idea of more capture energies in the deck, but I don't know where the space would come from. Like I said, my 61st card is an Inteleon V, a 4th one, and the 62nd card is either a scrapper or a jammer. We already have a lot of tools, so I lean towards tool scrapper, because Sight, EXP share are so good, and sometimes you just gotta balloon something. So scrapper probably over jammer, but again, I haven't found it to be particularly necessary, but it does make the Suicune matchup even better, because 160 plus 60 on the bench KOs if they don't have Cape of Toughness. Anyway, we're going to check out a game. We're going to do a VOD review of the game. So the game's already been played, but I'm going to talk over the plays and explain correct plays, incorrect plays, why things are made, all that kind of stuff. This is from the tournament as well. So my opponent also did very well in the tournament. My opponent, they also went 4-2. So that's also important to note. My opponent was a very good player as well. But let's go ahead and check out that game together. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look. We are watching at 1.5 times speed, so a little faster than we were originally playing at. We do go second, which is not the best for us. This deck does want to go first, like literally every other deck in the format. Because we're going second, we do want to start the Sobble, and we actually want to see if we can go ahead and, well, we don't want to get knocked out. We know it's open deck list. Our opponent's playing single strike, so the odds of them KOing whatever we put in the active is ridiculously high. So we're going to go and start the Sobble, keep the Inteleon safe. And we're likely going to want to go ahead and keep calling, because the hand is otherwise pretty darn bad. Beautiful. You love to see the correct play being made. They start their Umbreon. That's fine. And that does mean our Inteleon might not be safe. One reason I'm excited for this deck in the future is when we get the new Inteleon, we are going to be able to keep calling for it. We top deck a Marnie, which is super cool. So we're going to go ahead and bench the Inteleon. We're going to Capacious Bucket, grab an energy out of the deck. We would like to have a follow-up energy, so we shouldn't grab 2 here. I think I would rather keep calling at this point. The Inteleon, like, look, getting the attachment's cool, but if we overcommit, we don't keep calling, they can just go evolve, double Houndoom, KO us, and that would be really bad. So getting a keep calling here means if they KO this, you know, we have the potential to still set up. We can go in with our Suicune, you know, we have options. So I want a Capacious Bucket. I want to grab 1 here. I don't think 2 is correct. I'd like to Marnie myself into an energy. That wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. So I think it's a little aggressive there to go grab 2. And we could hold this hand. We have a Drizzile. We have a VMAX. But yeah, I'd rather get down a second Inteleon V optimally. Path is also really nice here. This hand is fine. If they take the KO, we can Melony. We can Raihan. Like, we've got options. We have 2 supporters. We don't have a Drizzile anymore, but that's fine. Let's see. Do they get the KO on the active Sobble? So that first turn, I do want to pause real quick of like, why? You know, the like gut instinct is I want to power this thing up. I have to attach pass, and then next turn I have to Melony. We have to establish a board state. One of the reasons why I don't think Inteleon is a tier 1 deck right now is just the 3 attachments is kind of killer. Because like a deck like Suicune or Ice Rider, I can keep calling and attack on turn 2. Inteleon, I can't do that. That is one of the definite weaknesses of it. Had we found like an EXP share, maybe we could have done it. Obviously not with this hand. Like I said, we should have just bucketed for 1 because we could have hit another energy. But otherwise, you know, the keep calling's fine because establishing a board is just better than anything else. My opponent has a good follow-up. They just need a dark energy, or sorry, a Houndoom to get the KO on the active. Let's see if they can pull it off. They also bump the path, which is annoying, but I think throwing the path is correct. Marnie plus path against a deck that relies on Crobat so strongly as a draw engine feels pretty good. They also got down a VMAX, which makes us feel this Inteleon is probably going to be safe. They would need double Houndoom plus an Umbreon VMAX to KO because they would need 2 of those single strike energies. Level Ball fails, so that tells us the Houndour is probably prize. So they only have access to these ones. It's good to know for the future. Now that is going to be a KO on us. Let's see. All right. There's the knockout. We are going to go ahead and promote the Inteleon. We can't not attack this turn. So now we have, okay, well, I was going to say, we have two options here. We can Melony and hope to draw into it, or we can Raihan and guarantee the VMAX as well. We got the VMAX, so at this point, we don't need any specific card off of this Raihan. We just want a Melony to draw more cards, potentially get Drizziles, get the attachment for turn, get down another Inteleon with an EXP share would also be nice. So we're going to go ahead and Melony. Notice too, one thing that I did on this turn is I Melonied before evolving. By doing that, my opponent doesn't know that I had a VMAX in hand already. This hiding of hand knowledge is something that I've been preaching in the last couple of videos, but I think it's such a big deal. So we got there. We're going to go ahead and throw that on. Throw on the site because it's open decklist, and I know they don't play Scrapper. Now, with the Suicune down, one thing we don't want to do here is bench the Suicune. Mellow, why not? It's a good question. The reason we don't want to bench it is they have 5 prizes remaining. I don't want to let them go Umbreon on it, and then they can KO this with a single strike Urshifu VMAX or something like that for game. I want to force them to go through 2 VMAXs. They can either go Gust on 2 single prizers and KO a 3 prizer, or optimally, I want to set up another Inteleon next turn. I know we currently can't do that with the hand. It's okay. Let's set up another one next turn with an EXP share on it and set us up nicely that way. So we're going to Hydro Snipe. We're going to put back the single strike energy. Yeah, throw it down the site for sure. Just make it a little more awkward for them. The Capture Energy, I mean, you don't want to give them an extra chance to bench something if they want to. They do get rid of a single strike Urshifu, which is very good for us. All right, we're likely going to see a VMAX here. So our game plan is probably going to be KO 2-3 prizers. That's kind of where we're at. Going 3-2-1. Feels unlikely, though we could KO the Houndour potentially. We are hoping for a top deck. Never mind, we're not hoping for a top deck anymore. They're going to Marnie us for us. We draw not particularly well off of the Marnie, unfortunately. So it looks like we're going to have to ditch both the Shady Dealings Inteleon and the Inteleon VMAX. But we get a quick ball, so we can go ahead and bench an Inteleon. Oh, the top deck water is also huge here. So we're going to go ahead and bench an Inteleon. The reason we're going to bench an Inteleon here is we want to set it up. We're hoping to research into a Drizzile or the EXP share to put onto this so we can threaten the attack for next turn. One thing I also did, and it was played a little too fast, I double checked for another VMAX in deck. Just like, okay, do I have another VMAX? If I don't have another VMAX, I would have rather grabbed the Suicune here because Suicune's just better of an attacker. But the third VMAX was in deck, so we're good to go there. We research, we get the level balls. We're going to go ahead and level ball 1. We're going to grab a Drizzile. We're going to Drizzile for the EXP share. Again, getting the EXP share down is ridiculously important on this turn, so I can attack again next turn. They're going to KO me for sure. That's fine. What we're going to do here is we're going to go hit. Then next turn, we'll go in with a fresh VMAX, and we'll be able to clean them up for game. We're going to grab a Drizzile, Shady Dealings, grab the EXP share. Cool. Attach it. Also go and throw a balloon down onto... So the reason I think we should put on the Sobble here, this might feel weird, but next turn, we're going to evolve this into a quick shooting. This is going to evolve into a Drizzile. If this is quick shooting, then we might want to attack with it. It's not the worst thing to have in the active. Versus a Drizzile, you don't really want a Drizzile in the active. So ballooning this one, because on some weird situation, this one might be an attacker. This one's probably not going to be an attacker. It's a turn away from ever wanting to attack. We're not going to bucket because we want to play around Marnie. We're not going to evolve this into a Drizzile either. Again, if they Marnie us, we want to keep this open so that we can Drizzile for, well, next turn, Drizzile for a Marnie or a Raihan or something like that. So keeping this open is a very big deal. We don't have any Sobbles left. The other Sobble is currently prized. Max Bullet, and again, our plan is to go 3-3 here. We're going to hit this and hit the Umbreon. If they don't evolve the Umbreon, we're going to win next turn with a, well, not next turn, but we're essentially going to win if they don't VMAX this. And if they do VMAX it, we can go 3-3. So we're just applying that extra pressure. And this is one of the reasons I like Inteleon over a deck like Suicune or over a deck like Ice Rider is I think the sniping is so ridiculously good in this deck. It's a little less consistent than Suicune, a little less consistent than Ice Rider, but the ability to snipe feels really nice. And even though we got the turn 3 max bullet, applying the extra pressure is making a humongous difference here. They're going to go to VMAX. Let's see, do they gust? They don't gust. Okay, so they're going to take out the active. Totally fine with me. What we're going to do is we're going to promote the pivot. Always, 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 if an air balloon on something with free retreat, promote it, because you never know what you're going to want to promote after. Now, the hand is absolutely beautiful. We have the level wall for the Drizzile. Drizzile can grab us either a Raihan or a Melony. Now we have to ask ourselves, do we want the Raihan or do we want the Melony? We have the attachment. The Raihan or Melony is going to give us the energy. We have the Evo Incense as well for the, what's the thing called? The Inteleon VMAX. Now it's like, do we want the 3 extra cards? Or is there just any singular piece that we would like to get out of the deck? I'm not 100% sure on this one. I think I like grabbing the Raihan here and going for the Raihan to just grab a Path to the Peak. The reason I'd like to grab the Path to the Peak here off of the Raihan is we don't need any attachments. We're totally fine there. Or we can grab another Incense, actually. Wait, grab a Quick Shooting and start applying pressure. I actually think that's the optimal play. No. Forget the path. Well, okay. I'm a little torn as I'm thinking about it. Like, this is the point where we should be checking their discard pile to see how many stadiums they have left. If we path them, they can't Crobat, and it makes it a little awkward for them because they have to find their urn and they have to do all this other stuff. We're going to hit this, and we could just, we're hit it for 60. It's going to have 170 on it. We knock it out next turn. So they have to find a second attacker off of this. So you put the path down. It might just be a little harder for them to power up another attacker that isn't this Umbreon. Versus grabbing the Quick Shooting, the 20 math doesn't actually matter. Hit this for 60, it's got 170. 170 plus 160 is a knockout on it. Whatever, the Umbreon VMAX. I think we want a Raihan here. Yeah, let's go back to the path play. I want to grab a Path to the Peak here. The reason we're going to grab, I hope we're going to grab, I don't actually know what we're going to do, but we should grab Water to the Inteleon, the Inteleon V. And then we should go ahead and grab a Path to the Peak to potentially slow our opponent down. Because essentially, if they don't attack next turn, we win the game. If they do attack next turn, we don't lose the game, but we might lose the game. Okay, now we're eyeing up a boss. That is actually 100% a misplay. The reason is this has a Sun and Moon badge on it, which means we can't actually boss it up. So I thought I'm getting game here, and I'm not guaranteeing myself game because I can't actually bring that thing into the active. So I was torn between getting Quick Shooting and getting Path off of the Raihan, and I chose neither. Huge misplay. Now we give our opponent an even better chance to win the game. Quick Shooting could have started to apply a little bit more pressure, maybe make things a little awkward for them. This play, not so much. Like if we had gotten the Path, we could have gone hard retreat, built up some Quick Shootings, and eventually finished the game off. The boss is just improved. But that's okay. We get the Sobble and Drizzile off the the prizes as well, which is so nice. They attach to the Umbreon. That's actually huge. I don't know if my opponent, I don't know what's in their hand, but by them attaching before anything else, they say, I have to attack with this. And if they attack with this, they lose the game. So by my opponent making that play, they make it so they cannot attack with anything else. I don't know what's in their hand, but that feels like a misplay to me, because if they ever attack with this, they lose. So they just shouldn't even attach to that. They should have attached to this or something else. Definitely. I think it's a misplay on my opponent's end. Like I said, I don't know what's in their hand, but attacking with that Umbreon VMAX is never correct. Attacking with the Houndoom is probably better because the Umbreon loses them the game. But attacking with that Umbreon V would have also been even better because I can't win off the Umbreon. They can hit me for 200 with the Umbreon because of the, damage counters, blah, blah, blah. And then they could have finished me off with the Umbreon VMAX because I can't win next turn if they attack with the Umbreon V. There's the fail. So they don't have the other energy, and we're going to see a mean look, so I cannot retreat. Also, interesting sequencing there. The tower coming after they've already retreated. Again, I don't like that play by my opponent. Always tower before. And don't do that. Do not make that play that I just made. I clearly thought that this was going to win the game. The Sun and Moon badge prevents the effects of supporters on the bench. Thankfully, we're so far ahead, we actually can't really lose this game. That's cool. But yeah, drop the path. We should have also attached this capture energy as well. We're not. But we should not have bossed there. We should have. Okay, good. That way we can attack with the Inteleon if we have to. Put it on the one without the balloon as well, so that we can retreat it if we have to. But now we're in a very good spot. There's the Sun and Moon badge. Yeah, the misplay. This thing has, I can't actually tell how much HP. 70 HP left. So next turn, we can potentially go quick shooting. But the ideal turn there is not to boss, but to attach the capture here still, and Marnie. If we were to bench the Inteleon, we lose the game. Can't do that. Again, the Suicune's not on the bench for a reason. The Inteleon is not on the bench for another reason. And there's the Drizzile. Drizzile for quick shooting. Quick shooting the bench. Hit it for 60. And we still win the game. So we got there eventually. Even despite the misplay. The extended BM, if you will. And we take a 5 prize turn. So hopefully that give you a little idea of the Inteleon VMAX deck and just how powerful those snipes are, that telescopic sight. Just like, you know, my opponent missed on a turn and we were able to take advantage of that by saying, I'm just going to apply pressure to your 2-3 prizers. We thought about, okay, how am I going to win this game? Ideally, you know, we go faster and we hit the hound hours before they evolve. My opponent already evolved, so it's, okay, I'm going to KO 2-3 prizers. And even if they don't evolve the Umbreon V into a VMAX on the bench, it's fine. Because if they don't VMAX it, we KO it even easier, and we still probably win that game first. This is a deck where that prize mapping is just so important. But hopefully you learned something watching the game. Hopefully you enjoyed it as well. I definitely, watching back, Raihan for boss was just such a bad play. The boss was such a bad play. We didn't get punished because we got far enough ahead. My opponent had some awkward energy management. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed the game. Like, comment, subscribe, all the other YouTube stuff, and I will catch you all in the next video. Peace out.